This is the story of the time I got the flu at Amazon. Now, if you for some reason saw my video about how the Amazon Times Off system works, I did actually get into this story because I just felt like it was related to explaining the Amazon Times Off system, though that's not the point of this video. I just thought that this should deserve its own video because I want to promote how great of a place Amazon is to work. So anyway, just getting right into it, doctor's notes mean nothing at Amazon. Doctor's notes mean nothing to Jeff Bezos. You cannot walk in to Amazon. I could confirm this. Amazon actually has their own human resources department. I mean, obviously they have managers, but they have their own human resources so you have a place to even take this note. You can't walk in with an actual certified signed doctor's note, hand it to the actual people there, and say, I have to go, I have the flu. It doesn't work that way. Doctor notes are worthless at Amazon. If you need to take a medical leave at Amazon, and that sounds weird to say because I feel like at other jobs, like you could possibly just call them and tell them you're sick. At Amazon, you have to fill out their actual Amazon paperwork. So for me, this ran into a lot of different weird scenarios and problems for me. I didn't want to use the word problems, maybe I'll use the word situations. I ran into a lot of weird situations with this. First of all, I'm standing there at Amazon like, I have the flu, let me go home. And they're like, nope, we can't technically let you go home unless you want to use your time off, which you're welcome to do. But it was just, it's a whole video about here that Amazon gives you a certain select amount of time off. And if you go over that, you automatically get fired. So I'm not trying to use my time off when I can submit an actual medical leave when I have the flu. And I'm just like, you guys realize I'm contagious. Right now, it's even, they take it more serious. This is before coronavirus, but it's like, you guys realize I could get everyone in this building sick and we'd have to shut down if we all get the flu. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as coronavirus, but it's still pretty serious. Probably the first time in my life I walked around wearing a mask like that, probably ever. Yeah. I think about it, I can't remember a situation where I had to wear one in a hospital for other reasons, besides now it's a coronavirus, but yeah, so they printed out, nice, I guess that was nice of them, they printed out the actual Amazon paperwork that they had to, Amazon certified paperwork that I had to take back to my doctor. Weird situation number 2 is that I had to go back to my doctor. And this for me, it worked out well, but I saw a lot of potential problems that other people can run into. Like, what if I need to schedule an appointment to see my doctor? What if my doctor is an a-hole? Because apparently where I lived, a lot of the doctors were a-holes. And I really do mean that. When I tried to actually go see, I ended up just going to the CVS clinic. When I tried to actually get a doctor, because I did not have an actual regular doctor, a lot of the doctors did not want to see me, and their actual assistants, I didn't talk to the doctors, you call them, all you get to do is talk to their assistants. Their actual assistants will tell me that their doctor, and it's happened to me, to more than one person told me this, and I was living in a nice area. I considered it a nice area to me. Well, many people told me this, that their doctors will not sign or fill any paperwork, anything related to work, unless I establish a relationship with them first. I have to go see them, first of all, just to get a regular checkup. I have to have several different appointments with them, have an actual relationship with them, and then they'll fill out paperwork for me. Not every doctor is like this. I met this wonderful doctor lady, thankfully, at the CVS, and later on I had to drive like 30-40 minutes to go find this doctor who was actually willing to work for me in a whole nother town when I had problems with my heart. And she was wonderful. She filled out the paperwork on the spot. She was ready to just write whatever needed to be written, not really any questions asked, because she can see I had an actual condition. Like at the time, that time was in my heart, but it's like, what if I couldn't see a doctor? Like, what if I couldn't go talk to him? What if he was just an a-hole? What if I needed to make another appointment? What if I can't just walk in, shove the papers in his face and get him to sign it? Because what if he's just too busy? Maybe he's a nice guy, but he's just too busy. Like, that's kind of like that. Like, there's just so many different like problems with that. And then, yeah, next weird scenario is they put me in a situation where I'm walking around again with the flu. And I'm going back into CVS, which is just really bad because where I was, there was a lot of old people there. And I'm walking around all these old people with the flu, looking really suspicious with my mask on, and they put me in a lot of weird situations. So yeah, thankfully I got through that, got the paperwork sent to them. Next weird scenario that Amazon put me in is I potentially could have gotten fired and then had to get rehired, and this could cause different problems here. Now granted, like, they told me that just stay home, and once they approve your case, if they approve my case, they don't have to approve my case. I've had situations where Amazon did not approve my case, but like saying, where the weird situation where Amazon did not approve my case was I was with Amazon's Career Choice program through there. I know this is a whole nother, I'm not gonna drag out this point. I'm just gonna summarize this point real quick because this is a separate topic. But I was with Amazon's Career Choice program, where they pay to send you to school, and it's all through Amazon. They pay the school and they approve your time off. I was getting my CDL, did not actually get the CDL yet, did not get the road test yet. I needed an extension. I messaged them. I tried to contact them like 3 different times. They never approved me. They never explained why I didn't get approved. And I told them I'm not in a college class that ended. I'm getting a commercial driver's license and I don't have it. So there is no reason for them to not approve for me to use their program that they paid for. And they already paid the school. And now what, you're going to tell me I can't go to the school that you paid me to go to? And you paid the school so I could be there? Like, whole mess there. So yeah, Amazon does not have to actually approve it. But yeah, let's say, weird scenario, even if they did approve it, I only had so much time to take off. Remember how I explained, like, Amazon gives you a set amount of time off set by the computer, and once you run out, the computer automatically fires you. So if I had gotten fired, even if Amazon reinstated me, the next problem that I could have ran into, which I actually found out, I didn't realize this at the time, I found out from a friend later, who he actually got fired from Amazon because Amazon gave him his 6th write-up. Once you get your 6th write-up, you're automatically fired. And yeah, Amazon's a place where it's really easy to get fired. Women's over there in their 50s talking about how they've never gotten write-ups because the computer just automatically gives you write-ups for certain things. It's not really manager discretion about a lot of things. The computer just said, do this, and they got to do it. Try to get back on the point and the focus of this video. If I had gotten fired, I would have had to start over, even if they rehired me, as a brand new employee. And for me, this would have been devastating for my Amazon career. It would have took me, at the very least, several months to recover from this. And I really do mean that. It would have taken me several months to recover for this. And that's only under the terms and conditions that the managers are pushing for me to recover from this. Because most likely they're not going to just have me scheduled for several months to do nothing but training so I can make up the training that I was already supposed to have when they need me to go work. And I mean, maybe if we're in a scenario where they are overstaffed, they just don't have enough work to go around, then yeah, they would probably gladly just push me to do more training. But most likely it would have been a scenario where they needed me to go do something, so I may have never recovered from this, or it would have possibly took me realistically years. And what I'm really trying to like explain here is that if you have gotten fired, because I learned this from my friend who actually got fired, and then he ended up getting rehired later because he appealed it and was very lucky that they approved his appeal, that you start over as a brand new worker, new badge, new employee ID, and you have to redo all of your training again. So yeah, this is the Amazon culture that promotes how good it is to its workers. I could have gotten fired for having the flu, for trying to tell them that I had the flu. Could have gotten fired because they didn't want to just let me go home. They didn't want to just approve my time off on the spot. I had to do this weird loop around Amazon computer, talking to someone about over the phone and through emails about getting my time off approved when I have the flu. I could, if I had to wait a few days too long, which for me would have been like 3 or 4 days, could have gotten fired, had to get rehired, and it would have probably possibly completely ruined my Amazon career, because the amount of training I had when I left Amazon, I kid you not, I believe at my level I was probably the most trained person that there was in that building. The only people I think had more training and certificates than me was people who actually, they just train people, so they have to be trained in everything. I was really, and one of the best workers. Like, I feel like I'm starting to sound conceited here, but I was just really well known, really respected worker there. And yeah, this right here could have ruined my career. Amazon, like, what you doing, man? You don't take doctor's notes? I walk in with the flu, you can't just let me go home. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, you want to tell me, oh, I should just apply in the computer. Like, it's just a very weird scenario. And, you know, having to go back to my doctor, to me, was honestly, like, the biggest thing. Is, like, how was I, like, was I really, like, I didn't know I had the flu. How was I supposed to know to go home, print out the paperwork first, and, like, what am I going to do? Just keep this paperwork in my car for an emergency, so when I get sick, I have your stack of paperwork, I can hand it to the doctor while I'm getting his appointment? Like, I didn't even know I had the flu. I just thought it was a regular cold, and they'd probably just tell me to stay home for the day and I'd be fine. I didn't know I had the flu. And I didn't know I was going to have to go back to my doctor. Like, you know how many, like, weird problems and scenarios I could have run into? What if my doctor, like I said, just didn't want to see me, or just, I didn't even have an actual doctor to go see. I had to go see the CVS clinic lady. Thankfully, I was able to go see her the same day. She doesn't work that often. You know, what if I ended up going back and she wasn't there? What if I went back the next day and she wasn't there either? Because she's an actual doctor that works somewhere else, and she works like part-time in the CVS. So I could have just not been able to see her. I could have went to my doctor. Maybe he was a nice guy, but maybe he was too busy to sit down with me and go over all the paperwork with me, because that's kind of an appointment that I don't have scheduled with him. It's just like, Amazon, I'm pointing a finger at you. Why am I pointing a finger at you, Amazon? Because you're like the most successful company of all time. You know, I know Tesla's trying to pass you, but you're probably the richest company of all time. If you were to look in the numbers, at least as of the time I'm making this video, you have such a culture of promoting that you love your workers and that you're the best place to work and that you always put your workers and safety first. Though I see time and time and time and time again, so many times, personal accounts that I couldn't work there anymore because it made me too stressed out and frustrated to work there. On top of, I think people just knew that I like to talk out a lot, and a lot of my coworkers would come to me and they tell me all their stories about all the situations, so that I have all these personal accounts, and then I have all my coworkers just telling me all these stories, that unbelievable stories of, like, things that I just, like, you feel like you wouldn't hear at any job, and then you're hearing it at the place that proclaims. And when you work there, you really see Amazon has this huge culture of really committing to the idea that they put their workers and they put safety first. So yeah, summarize this video the way I summarize this other video. As someone, one of my coworkers said, Amazon likes to say safety first, quality second, productivity third. Though when you actually work at Amazon, the managers clearly act as if it's productivity first, and the only reason safety is second is because quality does not exist. Yeah, so feel free to leave comments below if you want me to include your story in a future video. Feel free to ask questions about anything you'd like me to elaborate more on here, explain more in detail. I got no problem with that. And thank you for watching, guys and girls.